Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast, and we are finishing up this work week Friday night slate in the NBA, starting things off with the Golden State Warriors and those pesky New Orleans Pelicans, if you can call them that. Some best bets in there that we like. And as always, Nate does have a great article up on playpicks.com. Make sure you check that out and like and subscribe to that video and page. We're going to be kicking off our gift card giveaways next week, which we were pretty having a good time doing last season. So we're going to offer up some prop totals and things of that nature to you guys. And whoever comes closest, or actually rather gets the exact number that we'll offer out there, will get a gift card courtesy of our great producer there, Dan, who's helping us out. And if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area. Nate, let's jump into that Friday night slate.
Yeah, that Pelicans game you mentioned has moved considerably. If you were watching the line open last night at Warriors -3, you likely got almost a sure winning ticket by betting the Warriors. Now it's -9.5. It'll probably continue to climb with Brandon Ingram questionable. If he doesn't play, the Pelicans are really sunk on offense against the Warriors. Now the top-rated defense in the NBA, which is causing the total to drop too. We've gone from 218 now to 216, and that could continue to drop. Looking at the other games on a full but less inspiring NBA slate tonight, we have the Grizz -1 at the Wizards. We have the Spurs -3.5 at Magic. As I mentioned in the article on Play Picks today, I don't understand Spurs getting that few points against a terrible team. The Brooklyn Nets -11 at Pistons. The Knicks are +4 at the Bucks, who expect to get Drew Holiday back tonight. Cavs +5 at Raptors. Both teams have been surprisingly awesome so far this year. The Clippers are -3 at the Wolves. We'll break that down in a separate episode. Hornets +1 at Kings. Pacers +4.5 at Blazers. Welcome back, Karis LeVert. And then we are looking at the nightcap here with the Dubs. Just a unbelievable start for Golden State. They've just been crushing the competition. Really not much to say as far as the overview here. I'll let you get into the more nitty-gritty stats. But, Pelicans, maybe the second worst team in the NBA. The Warriors, maybe one of the top three. So tell us why.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been Dubs, the Jazz, and the Heat, in my opinion, right? That look like the top three teams. Specifically when you look at their ratings and for the Dubs, as you mentioned, number one defensive rating through 7 games, not played anybody too great. Obviously they did handle the Lakers in the first game of the season. But other than that, haven't played too much comp, depending on how you feel about Charlotte as well, who they handled at home the other night, which was a great call on your part as well for that under, people eyeing Charlotte's overs, and feeling good about that. And we zagged on that one. On this one, I'm tempted to zag once again as that total continues to drop, strictly because of the fact that, there's a couple of reasons, but starting with the fact that the Pelicans are so bad on defense, they really can't stop a nosebleed, as Bart Scott has once said famously. So, I'm not really sure what to expect against them. Against a Warriors team that I might consider having a letdown a little bit, at least on the defensive end. I could see them sort of in this 8-game homestand that they're in, playing teams like the Pellies, coming off a big, nice win against the Hornets, who were expected to be a good matchup for them and did not end up being so, as LaMelo Ball played really poorly. But tonight is a little bit of a letdown game, at least on the defensive end for the Dubs, which could lead to a few more points because the Dubs are going to get their points, not just because their offense is good and the Pelicans defense is in the bottom 4 of the league, but also because, they've got young guys who I think they'll continue to bring it on the defensive end, such as Jordan Poole, Damian Lee, and guys like Gary Payton Jr. II, who are coming in, playing some big minutes for them, and really bringing the energy on offense the entire time. They've clearly brought it on defense, but like I said, the hangover effect, or rather the sort of the propensity to play down to your comp when you're in the considered the best team in the league right now record wise versus the worst team in the league record wise. There's that human nature to just let down a little bit more on the defensive end in that effort. So I would, now that it's all the way down to 216.5, started at 221, I would consider the over there. I would still consider the Dubs. The only thing that scares me about their close to 10-point spread tonight is that BI may come back. And if he does come back, though, that just makes me like my over even more, helping out guys like Neil Walker-Alexander and Devontae Graham, who need to play off the ball a little bit more, to be honest, to get their points up rather than play with the ball. And nobody's been feeding Valanciunas. He's really just been doing it all himself, actually scoring about 37% of his field goals unassisted this year, which is a pretty good number a pretty bad number for a center who you'd like to be getting some easier looks. So, either way, I'm looking to tease down this Dubs win or combine their money line total with that over. But if you tease this down to 212.5 and take the Dubs at 5.5, 5 points, 4.5 points, depending where you see that spread right now, I would consider it. You might even wait a minute. If BI does play and this thing drops a little bit down to like -7 or so, I would feel really, really good about that as well, with that over at that point.
Yeah, I need the spread to be lower than 10 points. We don't feel great about the double-digit spreads in the NBA, the way the fourth quarter kind of evolves. But the angle I'm looking at here for this game is a terrible bench, just a Pelicans team that's getting no scoring beyond their starting lineup, versus a really prolific Warriors bench that, for years now has been much better at home. You get that crowd behind them, and they can put on the avalanche. Jordan Poole really led the charge in their last game. Interesting player performance double here for him to get 20 points in a win at plus 220. Don't have to mess with the spread. Just assume the Dubs are going to win and assume Poole's really going to be getting more run in the fourth quarter, hoisting more shots than Steph Curry if it's a blowout. It's a terrifying proposition, but if anyone feels bold and wants to take under 31 points for Steph, he only has 20 and 15 his last two games because the Dubs have been playing good team basketball and excellent defense. They haven't needed him to chuck like he was last year. And a little interesting angle for that bench, which I mentioned, the Dubs are fifth in the scoring, 37 points per game off the bench. The Pelicans second to last, 24. So if you go race to 10 points in the second quarter when those units are out there, maybe even Andrew Wiggins is out there with them to give them a little extra scoring pump. That's minus 120 for the Dubs to get the first 10 points in the second quarter. You can find that market on DraftKings.
Yeah, no, I like that too. And I do like eyeing our guy, Jordan Poole. As you mentioned, he went off for 31 points against the Hornets the other night. And his performance tonight is something that I would eye because of the fact that he's putting up about 7.5 threes a game, making almost 3 of them at home. Specifically, he actually scores about 1.5 points less at home than he does on the road, interestingly, but he does so far this season, a small sample size, but he shoots better from 3 at home and pulls a bunch more of them, which is what the Pelicans cannot defend, as they are in the bottom 4 in terms of allowing the amount of points that their opponents score from 3, the largest percentage points of their opponents from 3 points. So, they're allowing teams to shoot threes. They're allowing them to shoot it at a high clip. And that's what Jordan Poole does. So, yeah, if you're looking for some props in this one, you're not going to find a Steph Curry point prop below 30 this year. It's at 31.5 for this game. He's always liable to go off for that. But this year, it seems like, they are playing team ball. Last year, last thing for that, they were 11-14 last year when Steph scored under 30. This year, they're already 5-0 in the games that he scored under 30. So you can tell, as you mentioned, their bench is just way more prolific thanks to Damian Lee and then guys like Jordan Poole playing with that second unit as well. So that's all the time that we have for today. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Check out the other videos we have up for you today, those player props, as well as the Clippers and the Timberwolves. And until we see you next, happy betting.